Hello and welcome to a new video. I'm Fuchstanz, Lilies, and I'm glad you're here. First of all, I want to wish you all a Merry Christmas, and I hope you're having a good time, whether you're spending it with your family, friends, or alone. I hope the presents you receive are nice and what you wished for. And if you're alone, don't fret. I'm sure you can still make it a good time, or at least I hope it goes by fast so you can relax and just enjoy the cozy time at least. Now for today's illustration, it was actually a Christmas gift for a friend of mine. He really likes KAWORU from Evangelion, and so I decided to draw him KAWORU, and I had a lot of fun doing that. This is a acrylic gouache illustration. I really wanted to make sure that it won't budge and that it will hold on for a long time. With some watercolors or watercolor ink, sometimes you run the risk of it just disappearing in the sunlight if you hang it up on your walls. So this time it was just acrylic gouache, and I'm really glad with how it turned out. It was quite a bit hard to get this right. I'm not a big fan of doing fan art because I tend to lose myself in the details and try to make it as accurate as possible, which sometimes just isn't the right way to go about fan art. I feel there's some level of detail loss that makes it better to look at sometimes. So for this one I was a bit anxious, but I have quite a few figures of KAWORU, so at least I could use them for reference. It was hard though for me to pick the colors because he has so much art where the colors are different, even in the official art. So when I started out, I gave him this really dark gray hair, which in the end I lightened up a lot because I didn't feel like it fit his design in the end. Also, the plug suit was quite a challenge to get right because I wanted to get the details just right, and I don't know if it went so successful, but hey, I think at least you can recognize it's him in the end, and I think that's the most important part of this. I really enjoyed using this color palette, the really cool grays against the red details I chose, make it really pop, and I think the eyes also really shine against all the gray in the picture. For the motive, I wanted to go for a kind of melodramatic and serene vibe. Like, I chose the flowers, the spider lilies, because they have a certain meaning in flower language, and if you know how the story with KAWORU ends, you know it's quite a sad ending, and I wanted to express that while also keeping him very angelic. The spider lilies gave me a lot of trouble in the end because they are so hard to understand. Like, biologically wise, I spent hours looking at them and I couldn't figure out how to draw them really. So in the future I might just do some studies on these spider lilies because I think they are really pretty flowers. And I wish I could draw them more often because, like I said, the meaning behind them is quite special. And I'll get better at it. I just have to find the time and the motivation to do actual studies of it. The red spider lilies are connected or mean usually a final goodbye, and so I thought it would fit the motif quite well, or it would fit KAWORU quite well, seeing how his life ended. And I think it turned out okay. I'll get better at it, like I said. Also, I had a lot of footage for this illustration. The raw footage was like over 2 hours, so I hope I edited it enough and that it isn't boring to watch. I'm still trying to figure out how to edit videos and make them enjoyable to watch, so if you have any tips or recommendations, I'm always looking forward to them in the comments down below, or you can just message me on Instagram if you'd like. Yeah, but I'm really welcome for any help or tips on this editing matter because I'm just not really good at it. As I was adding the lighter shade of grey onto his hair, I think it really made him look a lot more like KAWORU, because his hair is quite a bit lighter than I originally imagined. I left some of the darker grey though, because I thought it would just give me the shadow color in the end, so that's okay. Make the best out of the situation, I suppose. But yeah, I'm glad I went with a lighter shade of grey in the end. And since I painted over the details on the plug suit, I just went back in with a pencil just to sketch in the details. I was referencing my sketch to the right just to get them back in and have a guideline for where I want to add the details in and stuff. Adding all the outlines to the suit really made it come together, in my opinion. Also, it helped clean up some of the edges I was messing up. So when I first started the background, I was going in with some Acrylic Gouache, and it didn't turn out how I wanted it to. I think the blue was just not pigmented enough and looked streaky and awful in my opinion. So I went back in with some watercolor, not watercolor, with just some regular colored ink by Rohrer&Kligner. I really like the paint, and it didn't work as well on the acrylic, but it was the only thing I thought would work, and it turned out okay in the end, in my opinion. And adding the darkness around him and doing some gradients and having galaxies and stars in the background really made me happy, because it just tied in all the aspects of what Evangelion is, and yeah. And I was filling in the red lilies with red, Um, I think the red wasn't opaque enough, but I think I managed it in the end. They just look like weird blobs at first, and then when I'm adding the outlines with a Posca pen, I think you can tell that those are red spider lilies. I hope, at least. Adding some more detail to the face was quite fun. I really love rendering faces and just adding strokes here and there to make it look more interesting and like a person, I guess. I went back in later on with a Posca pen again to line the eyes and make them stand out more, because I thought the brown wasn't working as good. Adding in the white, as always, was fun for me. It just made the illustration shine and gave it some contrast, and I don't know, it's always a good part for me. I really enjoy it. And I was adding some more galaxy parts or star clusters, if you will, with some acrylic. Also, I splattered on some stars, which was very fun. I always love paint splattering, and it always turns out really nice for the stars. Last parts were adding some liquid chrome here and there and some sparkly ink on the background, just to give it more interest and make the stars sparkle even more. And this is it for this illustration. I hope you really liked it and that you have a nice Christmas. If you want, you can leave a comment and a like, subscribe, I would really appreciate it, and I will see you on the next video. Bye!